Hey class, quick tutorial today on how to do total and averages in Google Sheets. So for the purposes of our exercise, obviously you need a blank Google Sheet, which I probably told you in person already, so you have it open hopefully. For this exercise, let's pretend for a few minutes that our principals, Mr. Smith and Miss Pruitt, were having a cupcake eating contest. Who could eat the most cupcakes over the month and who could on average eat the most cupcakes per week. So to do that, first thing we need always, right, is a title on our spreadsheet. So I'm just going to start in cell A1 and I'm going to title it Principals Cupcake Eating Contest. So just like that, I'm going to change it to make the title big and bold. You know, I always like big and bold titles. So let's make it bold like that and enlarge a little bit. And remember, I showed you how to merge cells. Click the little blue box, drag it, hit merge, and OK. There you go. And then since it's still highlighted, I am going to move it to the center of that one merged cell. So I'm going to skip a line. You do the same. And I'm going to put the weeks along the side in column A. So it's 1 month, so it's going to be 4 weeks. I'm just going to type week 1, enter, and enter again to skip a line. You might have to hit enter a couple times, but to skip a line to give him some space makes it easier to read. Like I said, week 2, week 3, and week 4. So now I need to get the principals' names in there. So let me create a new line. Remember, click on the number, right click, insert one above. So now you have the title, you have rows 2 and 3 empty right now. Then you have week 1, 2, 3, 4 with a space in between each to make it easier to read. Now I'm going to put, in this one, I'm going to put number of cupcakes eaten, right? And then I'm going to merge those cells, right? Pretty easy. And move it to the middle, remember, with the align button. And maybe I'll add a little something to make it stand out. I'll change the color of it maybe so it stands out a little bit. And then underneath number of cupcakes, I'm going to put Mr. Smith in cell B3, and then Mrs. Pruitt in cell C3. So now let's say week 1, Mr. Smith ate 14 cupcakes. Miss Pruitt ate 12. Then week 2, go down to week 2. Mr. Smith ate maybe 7 cupcakes. Miss Pruitt ate 10 cupcakes, so she won that week. Week 3, say they both ate 8 cupcakes, so put 8 in both. And then week 4, Mr. Smith really pumped it up. He ate 15 cupcakes, and Miss Smith kind of pumped it up too, and she ate 16 cupcakes, so she won that week. So now we have our data. Let's maybe center align those so they look a little better and easier to read. So remember, if I click on column B, whatever I do controls the whole column. So I'm just going to hit center, moves it to the center. Column C, same thing. whatever I do to that column. When it's highlighted, it affects the whole column. It'll do that to everything. So I'm just going to hit center, right? So we have our numbers. Now we need to find out how to average and total them. So to get our numbers, first we want to see what was the total number of cupcakes eaten. So to do that, you're going to start with the first number. Under Mr. Smith's name, that's 14. You're going to click and hold it and drag it to the whole, that whole column turns blue, and you let up where it's highlighted. Once it is highlighted, you're going to find this sideways M. Almost looks like an E. It's called a sigma in the Greek alphabet, but looks like a sideways M or an E. That's a functions button, and that's going to do all your adding and averaging. If you click on the little arrow next to it, it'll give you a drop down. Sum means total, or full amount. Sum is to add it all up. So you click sum, and then you hit enter. 44. So Mr. Smith ate 44 cupcakes. You do the same thing to Miss Pruitt's column. You click and hold the 12, her first number, drag it, highlight it till it's all highlighted. Then you do the same thing. Click the drop down and click sum and enter. 46. So Miss Pruitt actually won. So the total 46 to 44. Miss Pruitt wins. I doubt that would happen for real, but for the purpose of this exercise, that's how it is. So I'm going to make a space in between there because I also want the average. So remember, right-click on the number of the row you want to move, and then click Insert One Above. Okay, so now you have a space. Now we're going to do the average number of cupcakes eaten per week during the contest. So again, same thing. Click, drag, and let up. And then with the sideways E in the dropdown, you're going to go to average it. And click average. You press enter. Mr. Smith averaged 11 cupcakes per week. I'm going to do the same thing with Miss Pruitt's numbers. Click, hold, drag, and let up when you get to the last number. And hit the drop down next to the sigma, the sideways M, or the E, whatever it looks like to you. And then you click average and hit enter. She averaged 11 and a half. So you're going to type average. So I'm going to insert another row just so we have a, now you can doctor it up. You can maybe, remember I told you how to affect all the rows or columns at the same time by holding down the shift key. So if I click on row 5 and then hold down shift, and then I click on not shift, sorry, my mistake. If I click on row 5 and hold down the control, key, I click on, control, I'll get it. And I click on every row that I want to have a color in. Remember, the paint can is our color, fill color, which means it'll fill every row you highlighted with a color. So say I want that to be like gray. And then I want maybe Mr. Smith and Miss Pruitt's names to be bold, stand out a little. And maybe I want average and total to stand out a little bit. So I'll make those a different color. You can click on just a single cell and make that a certain color also. Right? So there you go. So there you have it. Total, average, have your data, your numbers, names, nice bold title, and there you have it. Once yours looks pretty much like that, you can use your own colors and everything, even your own numbers if you wanted. But once yours looks similar to mine, go ahead and turn it in, and we will have an assignment on this coming up tomorrow.